depends
It
on
don't
what
matter.
she did first.
No, it don't.
Didn't she stab him?
No. They argued. She got out the car, walked away. He went out the damn back seat and shot her in both feet. He's a bitch.
I'm sorry.
He's a bitch.
He should go to jail, but that's a funny story.
No, it's not funny.
Shot her in the feet? Like with a BB gun?
No, with the gun.
With
she
the
had
gun.
bullet holes in her fucking feet, both feet. He's a bitch for that. There's no
Tory
reason.
Lanez is straight up bitch.
There's no reason for you to do that.
He's
at
got
all.
so many bars. Why is he doing this?
I hope you get used to some other bars.
Yeah, for a long ass time. So
He kicks his ass out of the country. He ain't even a citizen. Fuck him. What was that?
That was
count it
his.
down.
No. Verbally.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the show.
And what the fuck?
Welcome back to ASOS, guys.
Yeah, episode, what was it?
16.
16?
16.
Yeah. Want to start this off by saying happy birthday, Kobe.
Kobe.
Oh, yeah.
42?
42. Yeah, he would have been 42 today. I woke up this morning and I saw a bunch of like Kobe videos and like quotes and stuff like that.
It was I've seen a lot of people post the video like him blowing out the birthday candles from years back.
I think all the members of the Dodgers wore Kobe jerseys during warm-ups today.
Nice.
Then, as a matter of fact, another song on my drives that I was listening to a lot because of the Joe Budden podcast. Amine, I didn't give a whole lot. I don't like the song Caroline. Like, I know what you're talking about. But he
on the album he did have that.
Woodlawn. He's like R.P. Kobe. I mean R.P. Kobe. You was like a daft nigga. It was like, and I remember listening to the song. It just like I've been the number one person to say that when Kobe was playing, I wasn't the biggest fan, but when I could see the impact he had on everybody else, like at this point, I can admit that I was wrong in the sense of not knowing how big his impact was as far as being positive in other people's lives, and it's like, I regret not paying more attention to that when he was here.
Oh, did he just drop a new album?
Yeah, album's fire.
Yeah, it's good. I remember, and I think it was in that song where he was like, yeah, once Kobe passed, like, I was like, damn, I'm 26. I gotta be more like adult. I have to be an adult now.
Yep. But that's the thing that everybody's like is that the dude was about to be 42, and the impact and legacy he leaves makes you like look at your own age and be like, yo, I need to do something to leave my legacy because he did it in fucking spades.
Yep.
I'm just here trying not to die.
Yeah. So moving on to
Just saying.
More basketball news. Today the Sixers got swept.
Did
you see the Celtics fans with the virtual Celtics fans all with brooms?
That's good.
The game is almost over, and you just see a bunch of people with like brooms. Like this.
The talent level between the Celtics and the Sixers is pretty even, which is why it's so frustrating to watch the Sixers play. Like, I don't know. They're either hurt, their coaching is god awful. Like,
Brown is gone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so is Elton Brand too. Because
it's just the level of talent that they have, they are not swept in first round talent.
What kept rattling in my head was when we talked last week, and James was talking about the Ben Simmons Joel bit, and I still think that the combo of those two guys, if you have enough talent around them, I think it's championship worthy. I think those two guys.
No.
But what I don't think is that the coaching does not do a good enough job of making JJ and the other shooters really relevant as far as what it is they're doing. And I also think Al Horford hurts them more than it does help them.
JJ Redick is gone.
No, that's what. So that's. But even what I'm saying is that shooters like him, anytime that they had the ability to have anybody along those lines, they don't. They don't have anybody that they can really look to.
Well, they lost. They lost to Toronto. You remember on the last second shot by Kawhi. Mm-hmm. They were about to go in overtime.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not like they switch shit up and then they come back this year and first round swept.
But the switching shit up was what? Losing
shooters.
That was it, and that was the thing.
And Jimmy Butler.
So, but that's the whole. But that's the crux of my point, right? Is that like you're talking about they were one shot away from what ended up being the NBA champions, right? With a certain style of play and a certain dynamic that they had on the roster. I don't like Al Horford on the team. I don't like. And you losing guys like JJ, there was no real replacement for him in what it is.
Exactly.
And it's like if you don't have shooters, then you're not going to work with what it is. And what you said was fun. What you said last week was perfect as far as what Joel does compared to what Ben does and how it doesn't necessarily mesh as far as them two guys only being on the court. But they're not the only guys on the court. And they shouldn't be the only guys on the court.
And they don't have shooters to spread out the floor.
Right.
So when you don't have that, then it just doesn't work.
Right.
Ben Simmons hurts your offense because if you have a point guard that doesn't shoot, like, what are you going to do? Clog the paint, because that's what he's good at, getting to the hole. If you clog the paint, then now you have Embiid having to go out further because that's where all the space is.
Does TJ Warren's a small forward, right?
Yeah, and he plays for the Pacers.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. No, he plays for the Pacers?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just need a shooter in there. They need a pure shooter.
You need shooters.
Yeah, because everybody goes into the lane on that team, and if you know that they're going to do that, and they can't really shoot the outside ball,
right? And Tobias Harris is not consistent enough to warrant being considered like a shooter.
No, Markelle Fultz.
I even miss him. That's the thing. I'm missing Markelle Fultz on that fucking team at this point compared to what it is they had last year. I mean, even though I know just because of his mental whatever the fuck he was going through, it probably wouldn't work out. But
he had the yips.
Whatever the fuck he
dude, do you remember that one free throw? I think it was last year where he like held the ball like this, and then he was like,
his shooting is Charles Barkley's golf swing. Like that's what it was. Like,
but now he's better a shooter.
He's a national championship quality.
But that's what I'm saying. If you had a Fultz doing what he's doing right now, still in Philly, different story. I don't see him getting swept by. I don't see him get swept by Boston. They might not win it, but I don't see him getting swept by Boston.
He leaves Philly, and then all of a sudden, like less than 12 months later, he's got a shot back. Is that not an indictment on like the entirety of the coaching staff?
And then you got your current point guard that can't shoot for shit and hasn't been able to shoot ever since he got in the league.
But the thing with Ben Simmons is like if you get enough shooters around Ben Simmons, I don't give a fuck if he takes a shot or not. If his passing ability and his defense alone being just the top, like if he could get the shooting down, he's a top 2 point guard, like without question to me in the league. But it's like there's enough talent that he has that they just need other guys around him. But I didn't watch the game all that. I was kind of like flipping. But hearing Doris Burke just the eulogy for Brett Brown, and just what at the end of the game, it's like this is with 6.5 seconds left in the game. Doris Burke is like, this is like you're on a bad date and it just won't end. Like, why can't this game?
And end? The Mavs now just took the lead.
Yep. Hey. I mean, and the Mavs without the unicorn.
Okay, my bad.
Oof.
How's Luka doing after the injury?
He's playing very well.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
Right now, looking at the playoffs as far as in the East, you got Boston, the only one that's already made it to the second round. Toronto is about to finish off Brooklyn. They're up 3-0. Miami's going to finish off Indiana.
Miami looks like a problem.
Yeah.
And they haven't even played Kendrick Nunn yet. He hasn't played a minute since the restart because he had the COVID thing. Nunn, and Tyler Hero are very good.
You can't forget about Duncan Robinson.
And that whole team is good. And they have that Jimmy Butler guy.
Player. I think he's a second-year player.
If Jimmy Butler makes that East gets in the championship, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Milwaukee, I love Jimmy Butler.
He's my favorite guy. Milwaukee up 2-1 over Orlando. Even though Orlando that game won, nobody saw that fucking coming.
Well, I think the Bucks came out and they just didn't play their game of basketball. Yeah. And then because they had been on a break for 6 months,
Right.
And then they were like, "Wait a second, we have that Giannis guy."
It's about getting Giannis angry again. You just got to get Giannis angry.
Give him the rock.
You just got somebody got to go smack Giannis's mother or something, get him to come out here and just fucking start balling again.
I mean, it's so hard because they double him every time. You double him, someone's going to be open, and then game 2, he just started finding people. So
we got Utah up 2-1 over Denver. They should get that done.
Okay, wait, hold on. That right there brings me to a conversation that I've had with Matt, who's a Sixers fan, right?
Mm.
He was saying that they should trade Ben Simmons or Embiid, but probably Ben Simmons, to the Jazz for Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell is a fucking stud.
Do you think that the Jazz would ever do that deal?
No.
If I'm the Sixers, I don't do that deal. That's the thing is that I'm the Sixers, I don't do that deal because I still believe, and it's the same thing I've been continuously saying, I think the combination of Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid is championship worthy. They just need other pieces to go with it.
Yeah, and they can draft those pieces or
I'll go through 10 coaches to get his shot right before I'm going to give him up to somebody else to get him to get that done. Dude, to me, it's like you have there's this treasure chest right here. Somebody just needs the key to unlock, and you're going to have one of the best players in the league.
Bad coaching. That's all it is.
Yeah.
If you trade Embiid for Mitchell, what the fuck are you really doing with that? Like, I wouldn't
do it. I wouldn't trade Embiid. Like, I wouldn't trade Embiid for Mitchell, but I would.
It's the Simmons stuff.
I would consider. I don't know, but it's not going to be a straight swap. But Embiid for Gobert, but with other shit involved, either way, I don't know yet. But
I think all you need is to draft a pure shooter. Like they're literally a dime a dozen to get a pure shooter, and then you have those two guys that can clog the lane and bounce it out to one or two shooters. They just don't. They didn't build correctly around those. They're two superstars. They let JJ Redick go.
Yeah,
like that's so dumb.
To me, it's you spend a year. You spend a year. Yeah, that was stupid. You spend a couple years overpaying. Like the Kyle Korvers and the guys that are usually free agents and are just looking for that 1 or 2 year deal. They're older in age. You just got to do that.
And then you pay Tobias Harris instead of Jimmy Butler.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
but
Jimmy
breaking
Butler
down
is a fucking stud.
Breaking down the rest of the bracket, the 3 most interesting series would be Houston, Oklahoma City. Houston's up 2-1 over Oklahoma.
We're up by 9 right now.
You got probably. If not, it arguably could be the most interesting, but you got Dallas and Clippers, which Dallas is winning right now.
We're up by 6.
The Clippers have the series 2-1. If Dallas can pull this shit off,
I thought the Clippers were my favorites to win. So
I think it were most people's favorites to win.
They got lucky the first game. It's like Porzingis shouldn't have been thrown out. Like clearly.
No,
that was garbage.
Yeah. So if that happens, but now the Mavs are up by 8. In the third quarter, and Porzingis isn't even playing.
That's the thing. It's like if the Dallas can pull this shit off, that'll be huge. I still don't think they do, but I mean it will be huge. And then you got the series that I guess started off as probably the most interesting, and now it's all right. Everything's kind of falling back into place. Is the Lakers and Portland when Lakers are up 2-1 after Portland won that game 1, riding the Damian Lillard dominating everything train.
I feel like we should wait until after like the next game. So like if the Lakers go up 3-1, cool. If it's 2-2 again, then
I'm talking about the way that they've looked when they've won. It's not they've looked. It's not like I mean I get it. Like you want to see 3-1, and then you're like okay, it pretty much is over. Especially after the 3-1, it's only somebody won a game 1. Especially riding as high as Dame Lillard was riding into that series.
Yeah.
But it's just when I see that, when I just – and especially you take into consideration the Lakers have kind of been on easy street for how long. They haven't really played since quarantine. They haven't cared because they knew that everything was lined up. So that if you have a guy like Dame Lillard show up and he's riding so high and you got the Lakers trying to kind of figure themselves out because they haven't played in a while, it kind of makes sense that they lose a game 1. So I think a lot of people were kind of freaking out. I know I probably hyped it up more than I needed to just because I'm riding. I love Dame, but it looks like
everybody was.
Anthony Davis he's just looking nasty. Like they're just.
Dude, AD
has always been nasty.
AD and LeBron should never lose a game.
They shouldn't. That
they should.
I mean, the only way you can beat AD and LeBron is to outshoot them. You're not going to be able to play.
Very possible.
You're not able to play good enough defense to beat them just on the defense.
You know who you're talking about, like who they're playing, right? Like they can outshoot them.
That's what I'm saying. But like, there's only a couple teams that I think can do that. It's Dallas, the Clippers, the Heat. The Heat it's a 3-point clinic every game, and it's so much fun.
But my friend John, who likes the Heat, he's a Heat fan, like a legitimate diehard Heat fan, even like before LeBron and all them. He calls it America runs on Duncan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every time he's like, "Hey, Jimmy, you know America runs on Duncan, right?" I'm like, "Yo, shut the fuck."
But to me, it's when you saw LeBron mouth to the Trailblazers. We're not built the same. We're built different, but we are built different. When you look at LeBron and you look at Anthony Davis, it's not about. It goes back to pure. Just
I didn't hear that.
Oh no, LeBron looking across the court saying, "We're built different. We're just built different. You're not like me." No one's like Anthony Davis. No one's like LeBron James. The combination of the two of them, even if you want to look at X's and O's and as far as this, that, and the other, they're just built different. Like when the game's on the line, they'll become something they don't need. They'll become something that they need to be the win. They just know how to win.
I mean, but it's only them two. Like if you look at
you can't. Hold on. By saying it's like it's only them two is downplaying just how big those two are. It's not just like you can't even say like the Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Like it's them two. No,
I know
it's Anthony fucking Davis and LeBron James. Like,
and they've both had moments where they didn't show up.
And trust me, I fucking hate the Lakers. I hate the Lakers with a passion. I'm a huge LeBron James fan, and I can't stand his black ass and fucking in a stupid purple and yellow. I fucking hate the Lakers. I will always hate the Lakers.
It's purple and gold.
Oh, fuck that yellow. It ain't fucking gold. It's yellow. There's a difference. Gold shines. It's just yellow. It's yellow.
That's why it's gold.
Can we remember that Rajon is he's got a chance to win another championship and not play a single minute of the playoffs?
But bubble playoffs been great.
Yeah. Moving on to the NBA draft. Who had something against the Knicks?
The Knicks do.
True. Because good God, like they got the 8th pick now. So they're just bad for no reason. Because you're not getting lucky like with the picks. And then when they do get the picks, if they get a great player, they're gone.
It's what's his name? Goddamn, why am I blanking on the owner of the Knicks?
Oh,
Dolan, asshole.
Dolan, yeah.
Jim
Dolan. It's the curse of Dolan. It's the Snyder. Dolan and Snyder. Good things can't happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things where as long as he's in charge of that team, I will never think anything good will ever happen to that team. Ever.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a bad person and he's got bad policies. And the Knicks are a bad team.
It just
if karma is a real thing, they should never win a thing. Dolan's
and the Wizards ended up 9th.
I did not actually see anything as far as the draft lottery. The only reason I knew the lottery happened was I heard Knicks fans piping up again.
Yep.
And then didn't Golden State get like 2nd or 3rd or something?
Yeah, they're number 2. So another thing that came out would be that it's possible that Golden State trades the number 2 pick to Philly. Now, can you imagine them taking Embiid or Ben Simmons from Philly? Because another topic is, does Ben Simmons play the point guard or power forward?
I mean, he would play power forward, right?
Well, I'm talking about in Philly. I'm talking about in Philly right now. He's playing point guard, but he's also playing power forward. Like,
and Anthony Edwards is like everybody thinks he's going first. Kid from Georgia.
Yep. He sure is. Going back to again, like we need a Ben Simmons or Kawhi type player on the Mavs. Like that's the only piece that I see us missing.
I mean,
just to be honest. So I would love to have Ben Simmons on the team.
To me, it's if I'm the Philadelphia 76ers and there's anything that resembles like getting a top talent or getting a top getting a top draft pick and drafting it over there. It's less. I'm trying to. I don't know why I'm blanking on names nowadays. Like I need sleep, I guess, more than anything.
Dude, last 2 days, I have been running on like 2-3 hours of sleep every night because I've had so many cases. I slept 11 hours between Friday and Saturday. And then I went to sleep at 2 last night, woke up at 2 this afternoon. I have been fucking ragged. I feel wonderful right now. I feel like Luka Doncic does.
Unless it's Sam Hinkie.
Luka's hurt.
Unless it's Sam Hinkie making the pick, I don't trust anything Philadelphia is ever going to do.
Yeah.
When they went from trust the process and then they ran his ass out of town. Mm-hmm. And now you see the team.
Wait, is it the Sam Hinkie curse?
It might be. There's a part of me that thinks Ben Simmons is not shooting on purpose until they bring Sam Hinkie back. Like, there's just this element of.
All right. I have the game on right now, right?
Yeah.
I love when Luka plays like this. When he's not bitching at the refs, but he's still, like, aggressive.
Yeah, he's charged up.
I love that.
Well,
he has those moments, but then he has moments where he's like looking at the ref, complaining, not getting back on defense.
He played for Real Madrid for too long. He learned some stuff from Ronaldo. Gotta complain to the ref.
You are right. I have never agreed with you more.
European basketball has a lot more of that just because soccer is their main sport.
Well, speaking of soccer.
Well, hold on, real quick before you switch off, even though that was a good segue. Congrats. I'm sorry, I had to shit on it for a second.
Good segue, but fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you. Do you think that there's a part of the reason that Luka get looked upon kind of like this just whiny bitch is because he's white?
No.
You don't think it has something to do with that perfectly coiffed hair and shit?
No. See, it's the thing. It's the thing is, it's the way he's consistent with it. Like he's sitting there like looking at the ref.
LeBron does.
I know, but people call LeBron a whiny bitch too.
But I guess maybe it's just because LeBron wins that there's a certain limit. You can't go too far with him. Like you might complain about it.
Luka just came in the league. Like Luka should not expect to get the calls that he like expects at the moment.
Who did he get the tech against the other night?
He got a tech today.
Not today. Who did he get the tech against the other night?
I don't know. It's the same team, the Clippers.
Yeah, I know. Which was it Beverly?
I don't know. You're talking about it was Markieff Morris.
Yeah.
But that was Porzingis though.
No, we're not. No. It's the one where he elbowed him down to the ground and then he turns around. And
that was Montrezl Harrell.
Montrezl Harrell, got it.
Yeah, because Montrezl called him a little bitch ass white boy.
When Luka looked back at him and said like,
he stopped flopping.
Stop flopping. I'm like, Luka, you ain't been in the league that long, bro.
Right?
I mean, I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. But
Luka carries this sort of I think that there's this aura of like my shit don't stink. I'm this badass little motherfucker thing that I think vibes.
Kind of is though.
He is though.
Yeah.
But I don't mind that. Talk all the shit you want, but to the players, don't sit there and bitch to the referees and not get back on defense.
I think it might be he was the LeBron James when he was in Europe, and he probably was getting those calls. And so when he's not getting them now because he is a superstar, but he's not Kawhi Leonard, he's not LeBron James, he's not getting that treatment yet. And I'm sure that just gets him frustrated. He's like, I've been getting that call my whole life. And now I'm not getting it.
And then he just sits there and like goes like this. And it's like, call that shit. And then like they're running back, and it's a fast break. And I'm like, get the fuck
but
back.
That's youth.
Defense.
That's just youth, man. He won't be doing that in 2-3 years from now. I guarantee.
Yeah, but right now it's just frustrating as hell.
No, I get it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I get it.
Now speaking about soccer.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for my segue that didn't work, but now it's back.
Speaking about Europeans.
Soccer.
Yeah.
Europeans like soccer. Don't you have something to say about soccer?
No, stop it. I'm gonna stick with football. Okay? Football.
It's brief.
Yeah. So, congrats to Bayern. They beat PSG today, 1-0.
Congrats, Mao, who is crying as he was boarding his plane.
Yeah, congratulations.
I didn't realize. For some reason, I just feel like they win every year. I didn't realize it had been 7 fucking years.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
but
congrats.
Madrid won 3 of them.
Yeah.
Liverpool.
Dude,
somebody was crying as they boarded their plane. What? Who was that?
Mauricio was because his team won the championship.
Yeah.
Where's he going? He's on a plane?
He was at a wedding in Trump's America, down in Georgia.
Got it.
I feel like it was probably socially distanced. But
Did you watch the game?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Neymar and Mbappe both look like absolute jokes.
Mbappe can't shoot.
Yo, first of all, there's too much talent on that team for them to not have scored today. They had so many opportunities.
Well, not because I don't like how they ran like the formation, everything they did, because
that's my point.
They were trying to play out from the back.
You can't do that against Bayern. Their midfield is too good.
And their line is too high. So you just got to do long balls and hope that Mbappe or Neymar can get loose.
I mean,
balling from the back.
But the problem is when they did get loose, they fucked up their chances. Like Mbappe had this like weak ass shot. Neuer had some great ass saves. Some might have been a little lucky, but he's great.
That's who he is.
He's fucking great. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't like PSG, so I don't give a fuck. They do have Jordan as their brand, which is cool. But other than that,
their kits are fire.
Yeah, but like they're like the Sixers. They're not good enough, and it's not the players' fault. It was frustrating to watch that game because I wanted it to be like 6-4, and it ended up being 1-0. So whatever.
Sounds boring as fuck.
No, there was a lot of shots. There was just a lot of saves.
The Mavs outscored the Clippers 35-19 in the third quarter.
Yep, and then Luka had to see. Just real briefly, we're going to segue into more firings. The Caps.
Yeah, that was on the list.
They got fucked.
And they fired the head coach.
And this morning, I think about 3 days too late, they fired Todd Reardon.
Why'd you do that? I had more shit to go, but okay.
I'm just angry about it. I don't know why they didn't fire him 40 minutes after the
Go ahead.
40 minutes after the game. This is another instance where the Caps are Stanley Cup final caliber team, and we lost to a good but not great Islanders team in 5 fucking games. We need a head coach with like 100 years of experience, because you can just plug him in, and with our fucking line, we can win everything. We should be in the finals every year. We only have Ovi for another 6 years, maybe 5, 7. I don't know.
That's a lot.
I know, but we should be contending every fucking year, because we're not going to have another Ovi after he's gone. Like, there's Connor McDavid is the closest thing, and he played like shit too. They are gone. So
what was the kid from the Blues that y'all got? The St. Louis Blues.
TJ Oshie?
Yeah, wasn't he supposed to be great?
He is great. We were not set up to play well. I mean, we didn't have action for 3 games. That hurt. But there's no excuse. There's no excuse to play the way we did. So whatever. He's fired.
All right. So speaking of, like, we're going from one team that played like shit to another.
I'm sorry. Some just came through that was like emergency. I'm sorry for shitting on your segue one more time. But as far as the Caps go, it almost felt like we reverted right back to who and what we were before Trotsky came in and got us.
It was Bruce Boudreau hockey is what we were playing.
Right. And it just God, I don't know why we didn't just get him to come back and do everything.
No. So I heard, and I don't know if this is true or not, that there was no amount of money that we could have offered him for him to stay.
Why?
We need to fire McClellan. There's something wrong there where, like, we can't get, like, and also why do we keep Todd Reardon? Like, the best coach on that team is now with the Islanders.
Right.
It was the power play and PK coach for the Islanders. We kept the wrong guy. And the only reason we were even any good is because we still had the same pieces in place from when Trotz was there.
Right.
We did not get any – we obviously got worse with Reardon at the helm. It's just –
to me, it's always been that the team has always had enough talent. It's always about getting what it is that we need to do to get past that. It used to be that it was always on Ovi, right? Like, Ovi needs to get us over the hump, but it's more than that. What's going on with you? You got
to fly.
Yeah, there was like a random bug.
You have to look when you're jerking off in the closet. You've got to take your jerk off socks and take them out of the closet. You got to wash those. You can't just leave a pile in the corner of the.
I live with my fiance, sir.
So when you jerk off in
even
the
more
closet,
reason to stop jerking off in the closet. Like she's there now.
I don't do that.
Well, that's why you have flies in your closet.
No, it's not.
He actually uses those those scarves behind him.
No.
All right, your jerk off scarf.
Jesus Christ.
That's why they're so taut.
Oh, is that right? just hit him.
Y'all really some bitches.
Here's the thing. He can hit them and they'll sound like wind chimes.
Y'all are some bitches, boy.
You know what I got? And I wish I brought it in here. You know those massage guns that they use for they were just using on Luca? I got one of those. Dude, it is life-changing.
I need to try that joint.
Yo.
But, wait, hold on. No.
It's also a good sex toy.
No,
that would be painful.
All right.
Yeah, that's how I like
Fuck you both. I'm going back to my segue.
Okay.
All right. So we were just talking about the Caps firing homeboy. I don't know his name.
Todd Reardon.
Okay. Now we're going to talk about the possibility of Barcelona selling Messi. Did you hear about this?
Yes, I had read it.
It's bullshit. It's the board trying to save their ass by putting Messi as a scapegoat again. And the whole board just needs to go.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Why did we hire Koeman as the head coach?
If I'm Messi, I'm out.
Yeah, and he told them that he's more likely to leave than stay. So he was on what they call a holiday, a vacation with Luis Suarez and Jordi Alba. He came back early to talk to Koeman, and he told Koeman, "I'm more likely to leave than to stay."
Yeah, why wouldn't he want to go somewhere where they will build around him and he can win again?
Well, remember, Messi has a buyout clause, right, of $700 million, right? But he can leave for free next summer. If he tells Barcelona he plans on leaving, he can leave for free next summer.
Yeah, I don't see why he wouldn't come to the Prem.
Yeah, I mean, fuck it. At this point, I'm a Messi fan, as you can see, but
he's what, 34, 33?
33.
I mean, that means he's got 4 years left? Why not go play in the Prem, which is arguably the most competitive of the leagues? Go play for I don't know, Spurs or Liverpool. Yeah, go.
He went to Liverpool. God damn.
Yeah, go play for one of those teams and win. I don't see why he wouldn't. And also get paid $100 million a year.
Well, he's already getting paid $100 million because he owns 100% of his rights.
Right, but get paid $100 million to be a winner again. It's a no-brainer to me.
Did you know that he gets paid $100 million and he has 100% of his rights?
Yeah,
his image rights.
He's the best player in the world.
That is nuts, especially in Spain. That's nuts.
Yeah, but he's paying 50% taxes.
Yeah, that bullshit.
Okay, bullshit. Taxes are good.
No, yeah, taxes are good.
All right.
You live in a state that you get.
Moving on
from we live in motherfucking.
Moving on.
I pay a shit ton of tax.
No, him in Delaware.
Moving on from my team in
Delaware, yeah, exactly.
Kadeen's team in turmoil.
Which is?
First off.
Yeah, the Nats aren't doing that great. I'm joking.
No. Let's start with Ron Rivera, right?
Oh yeah, dude, brutal.
Yeah, I'm praying for him because my pops beat cancer twice, so I know that shit is tough. I don't know personally, but family wise, my pops, that shit's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I mean, but luckily it is the most treatable of the skin cancer. So I mean, he's down there, riverboat running with no sunscreen on, no hat.
Yeah, I want him to beat the shit out of this cancer day.
Yes.
Same here.
So, my wishes are with you, Ron. So, yeah. I heard that the next man up is your boy.
Well, your boy.
No, he's not.
Everybody's favorite tweeter.
Nah.
Coach Jack Del Rio.
Hey, he number 2.
Look, as I've said numerous times, I don't know if on the podcast I've said it at least once on the podcast. Your voice went so high pitched you gave feedback into the microphone just now.
I don't care.
It's like the only person that was able to hear and make out what just happened.
I don't care. I don't care.
But overall, is just looking at the situation itself. When you see something like this happen to Ron Rivera after what he's doing with this entire team, it sucks because it always feels like no matter how much progress you make, there's always something to come back and to kill us. And while I think that Ron has a really good chance of beating this, there's always in the back of my head, the last time that we had a coach that needed to come in and completely wholesale change the culture was Vince Lombardi, and everybody kind of knows how that ended up. But so that kind of scares me, at least just as a Skins fan historically. But Jack Del Rio being the plan B, if I'm being completely honest, other than me not liking or appreciating Jack Del Rio's tweets or basically anything that he believes, what I do know is a motherfucking good coach, and he can especially coach defense. And if there's anybody that is able to come in and step in, especially if you have a coach having a healthcare or anything, he's already done that when it came to Denver and what happened with John Fox. So it's like, That's true. There's anyone that could have – so it's like when you look at these situations, like I look at a Ron Rivera who already knows what it's like to come in when you have a problematic owner doing stupid shit. He has that now with Dan Snyder and the controversy he's done and what he's doing as far as turning the ship here.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
And now you have another guy, which he's been in a similar situation too. So it's not anything that surprises them, which is I think has been the biggest thing that I've noticed as far as this coaching staff is just how comfortable they're with making certain decisions because they faced a lot of these shit before. Like there is no scrambling around trying to figure it out. This is just what we're going to do. And it's just you can always see that they stand so firm in it. Like we talked about last week with them getting rid of Darius Geis. They just cut Cody Lattimore today, who was having some of the
really.
Mm-hmm. They're not fucking around. You look at all the rest of these. Then you look at even the Reuben Foster. Reuben Foster, I don't know if you guys heard the interview where he's praising the shit out of his coaching staff, but being like, look, I understand that I need to do something different. I needed to be a better person, and these guys are trusting me to do that. And everybody that said it is you got like Ron Anderson and a lot of the guys on the defense saying, if Reuben Foster plays when he's on the field, he is the best player we've ever seen. So it's like these are what these guys are saying that what they're hearing in training camp. I've just never heard that kind of like you can give it. I don't think
that's
Reuben
bullshit
Foster,
though.
I don't think Reuben Foster is the best player in the history of the league.
All right, thank you.
Nobody's really believing that, but I'm saying that
that's what I'm saying.
But here's what I will say:
okay.
When Reuben Foster was playing really good in San Francisco, there were few players in that position that were better than him when he was really going all out. But the only thing was it was a very, very short window of what we saw, and you also knew that he had a whole hell of a lot more to learn. Not to mention San Francisco over the course of how many of those years, we're seeing a lot of turnover as far as coordinators and coaches go. So if given the opportunity with a guy like Jack Del Rio who gets the best out of his players, you got a guy like Ron Rivera who gets the best out of his players, especially when it comes to character. The marriage of all those things together to me gives me more faith in this franchise than I think I've ever seen. Not that I've ever had. I had a lot of faith when Joe Gibbs came back until you start realizing that he had the exact same playbook in 1983. But it was like you start seeing some of the pieces move, and it's just as much as I hate a lot of things with this franchise, you can honestly look at every single aspect of things that they've been problematic or wrong about and saying they're addressing it. And I
think if you've seen what Coach Rivera's been able to do, even during COVID, when it's obviously he's been hands-on but distant, if he does need to take some time to step away for treatment, he's still going to be a presence for the team. He's still going to be making the big decisions, even if Del Rio's the one tweeting from the Washington football team account. Rivera's still going to be there.
Here's what you also got to realize.
Be there, even if he's
in
not
that joke.
there.
Fuck you in that joke. But here's the thing. Also, along the lines of what we're talking about when it comes to changes, the head of the Washington football team social media is a black woman. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah.
And outside of that, the person in charge of all their media stuff is another woman, Julie Donaldson. Love her. There's and
they hired the first black president.
Thank you. Which we didn't talk about. We didn't talk about it last week because it just happened. They hired a young black team president. And he did.
Rivera's not playing around.
Did you see the interview he did? Which is what was the line? He said that look, I totally understand if you have somebody that has played in the league, has an MBA from a top school, and I beat them out because I'm black. I mean, I guess so. I guess I'm sorry about that. But it's like there's nobody that was more qualified for the gig than him. He got the job, and he just so happens to be – he's 30-something years old, black dude. That is change. I'm looking at every facet and I'm saying change. Ron, I've been paying a lot of attention to what's happening in training camp. Oh, my God.
Hold on. I gotta give the Washington football team their props. I've given you a lot of shit over the years because you're giving me a lot of shit. But as of right now, like –
deserve it. You guys call your goddamn stadium the Death Star and don't realize it blows up in every movie.
Fuck you. It don't matter.
literally every movie.
It don't matter.
Even the new ones, they built a better Death Star.
Sounds great. See, like, I'm trying to give you props, and then here you go.
I see Mark Davis gave his speech.
Fucking props, goddammit.
Looking like fucking General Hux. Fucking the new Star Wars movies in front.
You see,
like, you're gonna die, right?
You're the curse of the Redskins right there. Like,
we don't use that word anymore in Washington.
Yeah, fuck you. Okay.
But what the Redskins have, the Washington football team, WFT.
It's easier for me to say it than you guys at this point. I don't even say the R word anymore.
What's the best part about that is when you start putting people of color in high-ranking positions within any company, or in this instance with the team. That's how you get more people of color way at the top. Mm-hmm. It's because it doesn't always start at the top. Sometimes it starts with infusions, in high positions within the team. And then what happens is the people who work there and other teams and other companies see that it's working, see that you're getting good press from it. And then it starts happening everywhere. So props to them.
And then hopefully we'll get to the point where no matter what you look like or anything in regards to you as a person, you are hired because you're the best qualified person.
Yep.
And that's what I'm seeing is that the Washington football team is not only they're doing both. They're making sure that the candidates they look at are candidates that are diverse, but they're not doing – there is no charity case that is happening here.
It's mostly – it's almost like nepotism, where if you think about football as a family – like historically, the coaches have all been white. So if you're going to pick up a new coach, it's going to be this other guy who got fired, and then we're going to pick him up because he's in our family, but he's a white person.
Right. Not the black offensive coordinator who's running the best offense in the league at this point.
You got Santana Moss, I think, is having a bigger impact as far as what it is the Washington football team does as far as from a media perspective. I love everything I'm hearing coming out of that part. Every once in a while, what I feel is, and here's the thing, even as a fan, I'm guilty of wanting them to do things that are bad. I look at our wide receiver core and I'm like, why aren't we calling Josh Gordon? Why aren't we calling Antonio Brown? And they're like,
well, hold on,
bad.
Like, Josh Gordon, not bad.
I was
like, come on.
Not bad. Sorry, not bad. But as far as anything being that it be a distraction or being problematic in any way, shape, or form, even if I don't agree that Josh Gordon in any way, shape, or form is problematic, there is an aura, regardless of whether or not you think positive or negatively about it.
It's kind of like, but Homeboy enjoys CBD.
No, Homeboy enjoys THC. And he enjoyed it so much he was willing to risk his career for it. Like that to me is not about – it's not a Ricky Williams sort of situation. It is Josh Gordon literally like kind of having a problem up here as far as that goes. And
I remember
it's weighing what's important to him, and football is not important.
But didn't he say that he was like introduced to marijuana like as like a youngin?
Yeah, he grew up in a tough environment.
That's what I'm saying. So it's kind of like
we all. I mean, I know I was introduced to marijuana as a very young kid, but I also knew that if I wanted a particular job and I needed to pass a piss test, I wasn't going to smoke for a while. Like I could prioritize.
That's why I became a lawyer. No drug testing.
Well.
But I will also one last thing on the Washington football team, as far as what I've seen coming out of training camp, is the exact opposite of what Jay Gruden has done. And you're seeing sometimes with the players, it's kind of if they're getting into it, it's getting hard for them. This isn't Camp Jay. Ron has been screaming at these dudes during practice and making shit happen. They said that like they had a fairly good practice yesterday, and near the end, he saw some guys kind of letting off or whatever, and he got in their asses. Look, how the fuck do you expect us to finish games if you can't finish a goddamn 3-hour practice.
Yeah.
And what he was saying was that in his statement about him having the cancer diagnosis, he said, "Look, I might be a little more angry, but I think it might help us." Like it's just.
But
yeah, he's like, I'm gonna be crankier, but
I want to call back, right? Because you were talking about how Ron Rivera was angry because he saw the team letting up a little bit at the end of practice. That is what I hear is what Brett Brown doesn't do. He doesn't hold people accountable.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't
that's
see. I don't
the
think
big difference that I see.
Brett Brown,
no,
is not
aka
gonna have
Jimmy
a job.
Butler's entire problem with the Philadelphia organization. Like that was what it was. It was like, how am I going to come in here for this thing and nobody's? And then why is everybody so completely complacent and not trying to call anybody out on doing something different? I can't.
That was the problem before Barry Trotz was with the Caps. Even the players would say like they didn't practice. Like Ovi didn't really practice. Baxter didn't really practice. They were just on the ice because the coaching staff was like they're good enough that if you put them in the game, they're going to be fine. No, that's not how it works. You become championship caliber when everybody's going 100% in practice because you play in the game like you practice. If
and
that's that culture change. That's why the Patriots are so good.
Right, and there's a balance though. You have guys that think that, all right, well, if we're just strict for the sake of being strict, then it'll bring wins. That's why you got guys like Mike Singletary flame out as far as coaching. That's why you guys like Tom Coughlin, even though he got results, used to have to try to every time that they won a championship was when Tom Coughlin had to sit down and say, ease up a little bit. Like it was always, if you're too much of a hard ass for the sake of being a hard ass, you're not going to win.
Right.
But there is a balance between holding yourselves and the guy next to you accountable to doing what's needed to win these games. And it's across any sport. I mean, it's across any job. If you have a manager in any profession you have, if they just let everything go and slide, you're not going to perform well. I don't care where you are.
Yeah, because there's no accountability. That's why the Kobes were so good. That's why the Michael Jordans were so good. That's why their teams were so good because they pushed their teammates to work as hard as they do, which sometimes was ridiculous.
And they didn't care about being liked.
No, and there's a difference between being liked and being good. Like there's different qualities. Like if the reason that people didn't like Kobe while he was playing is because he was an asshole, but he was an asshole that produced. So now if we look back at his career, if you weren't a Kobe fan, you can see he was an asshole because he wanted to get results. It wasn't because he's a bad person. You can see with what he did with his daughters, everything else. Great guy. But not on the court because he wanted to fucking win. And he's going to make sure that you're not the reason he's not going to win.
Especially when he's putting in the work.
Yes.
And you see a lot of
if he's waking up at 2:30 and like going to the gym and then he sees you guys like in the club and shit like that. He's like, no.
But that's where you also you get into that line a lot when it comes to these guys that they consider player coaches, which are like the guys that the players all love. But even with those guys, there is an accountability that happens. It just necessarily happens as rah, angry in your face as it would be with other things. Like Mike Tomlin demands certain things from you. He's not going to yell at you to get it done, but he demands certain. And there's almost this level of like, from what I understand from hearing a lot of what Pittsburgh Steelers guys will say, is you feel guilty. There's like he doesn't need to yell at you. Like you feel guilty if you haven't brung everything you need to bring. Bill Belichick's not a yeller.
No, but he'll tell you that like if you
get the fuck off my field. Yeah. You don't deserve to be here. Get off my field.
You've let me down.
You're in Cleveland now.
Right. Yeah. You're gone.
And you try to we got a second round pick for you.
It's the old parenting trick where I always felt way worse when my dad said he was disappointed in me rather than when he was yelling at me. Because yelling, I'm just like, I'm not listening.
But then you have the player coaches. You have the player coaches like Jay Gruden that wants to go hang out with you and bang co-eds at the bar in Ashburn. Like
that to me sounds awesome. But it does not
step back.
It does not. I mean, if I was Jay, that's what I would be doing. But it doesn't make for a good work environment. Forget that it's sports. That doesn't work. That doesn't work anywhere. So,
but that's been the Washington's organization is complacency and just let's have fun day in and day out because we're all getting paid.
And all this nonsense, or not nonsense. Take that back. All of these reports that came out about what was going on in the Washington football team as a franchise. I would not be surprised if a lot of that was simply because the team was so lax they weren't holding everybody accountable.
That's exactly
and
what it
that
was.
These things could happen without a lot of people knowing because they weren't keeping tabs on things that they should have been.
Exactly.
So
you lose sense of everything if you're not in the details with it. Like there's you just gloss over it all. And look, I one last thing on the Washington football team. The Washington football team name being the Washington football team is kind of growing on me. I don't know.
I don't hate it.
Luke is taking this game over.
Yeah.
When doesn't he? Even though Kristaps is my favorite player.
Bang. All right, next.
Fucking stupid Knicks.
No, actually, that's it.
There was more on your list.
Oh no, there was. Wow, I can't believe it.
Hold on. How long have we been? How long has this been? How long has this episode go?
No, the final topic.
No, how long has this episode go?
50.
50? Oh yeah, fuck that.
The final
the
topic.
List you sent me.
Hold on. The final topic is in regards to the NFL and the false positives, because there was a lab in New Jersey.
Two stories. We'll do this one, and then there's one other one after.
Okay.
Yeah.
So somebody's hyped today.
Dude, the only sport I really care about is football, and there's a lot of fucking football news.
Okay, fine.
Oh shit, never mind. Yeah, it was on your list. It's the first thing on your fucking list.
What am I missing?
Earl Thomas.
Oh shit.
It's the first thing on your list.
Look, I wrote a new list and I didn't put it on there.
All right, hold on. Let's go Earl Thomas and then the positives. All right.
What the fuck is Earl Thomas doing?
Wait, so here's what I don't understand. Is there video of the scuffle?
I don't know.
I'm sure
it
has to be.
I saw aftermath video.
But it has to be. If it's a practice, it has to be.
So what? I mean, to me, this sounds like they didn't want Earl and Earl didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
I can tell you exactly what happened with Earl. Derrick Henry destroyed his life on that goddamn stiff arm in the playoffs last year. Like, that was it. Ever since that, Earl Thomas has been a shell of himself. But even when he was in what a lot of people don't like to talk about is that when he was in Seattle, there was always this aura of him kind of being a me guy or a selfish kind of dude. It was a lot of those dudes from the Legion of Boom. They were very me guys, regardless of how you look at it. Like, even though they were talented as shit, Richard Sherman was a me guy. The Cam Chancellors was, even though he sacrificed a lot of himself, and I'll never forget that walking up the field, they were me dudes. Like, that's just kind of the way it worked.
I think that was Earl Thomas that did that.
Was it Earl Thomas that did the finger? Or was it? Oh no, it was Cam Chancellor. Yeah, you're right.
It was Earl Thomas. But
see,
Cam Chancellor had neck issue.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he ended up retiring because.
Yeah.
But he got his fucking bag when he needed it. So.
Yeah.
Wow, he's only 31. I thought Earl Thomas was a lot older.
Earl Thomas has been trying to get to the Cowboys for the longest time. So
they deserve.
I can see this. I can see this happening, but
I don't know. Cap space for him.
They just cut a D tackle. Guy's name, Gerald McCoy.
Wasn't McCoy? It might have been McCoy.
McCoy. He signed a big deal, but then he got hurt.
Yeah, they cut McCoy.
Yeah, so he just got hurt. So they might have space for him.
Well, they wanted Jamal Adams.
Yeah, but I mean, now they can get Earl Thomas.
Here's the thing: Earl Thomas doesn't scare me anywhere near as much as he did in that Seattle defense.
Agreed. And
that's the thing is, like, him in the style of play that he did as safety is that you need a lot of help up front to make that shit work in his style of play. He could be a little more freelancing if you have other guys that have everything kind of shored up. If you can't do that, you end up being like a fucking LaRon Landry, just running around there hitting people when you can, but it doesn't really help it doesn't help your defense.
You remember when Landry went to, like, took that offseason and only went to the weight room? And then, like, his arms are like...
He went somewhere other than the weight room. It was called the street corner to go get his steroid injection. Like, that motherfucker, that's all he did.
Dude, Landry was the biggest dude on the planet.
I couldn't stand LaRon Landry. Like, LaRon Landry, it was the best nickname in all of defenses. When LaRon Landry and Sean Taylor were back there and we called it Area 51, was the shit. And outside of it being Area 51, like...
I like Dr. Death.
You're trying too hard. But no, Area 51, Area 51 being Sean Taylor was 21, LaRon Landry was number 30. Like, there's just was legit.
There's levels to it. There's levels. To it.
Yeah, and it was and it's like it was a no-fly zone. Like, you can't get.
It's two aliens back there.
Right, but that was the thing. But that would.
You know what? There's levels to that. I fuck with it. The more I think about it, the more I'm like,
When you had LeBron in the box and he could play up towards the line, you had Sean just fucking running from sideline to sideline, do whatever he needed to do. It was
killing
legit.
punters.
But see, that's the thing is that when you lose Deshaun Taylor and then you lose a lot of other things on the defense, you got LeBron playing more of that free safety, trying to go back and forth. There's been so much you can do, which is why Deshaun Jackson was smoking him every time he had the fucking football. I look at Earl Thomas along those same lines. If you look at Baltimore's defense, there was a lot of problems that they had of shit going over the top when it came to Earl, and there was a lot of Earl not taking the right angles. And there's a lot of one of my favorite highlights of last year was Derrick Henry stiff-arming him, Earl Thomas trying to look over the back of his shoulder because he's got him completely spinning around like a goddamn ballerina, trying to figure out where the fuck he is to tackle him. I think Earl Thomas at this point could be considered overrated.
I feel like he still could be good, but he needs the pieces around him because he can't cover like he used to. But he's still an elite safety.
He's not been elite. He's not shown me not one iota of eliteness in Baltimore.
I didn't really watch him last year, to be completely fair, except for that one play where Derrick Henry put him inside.
Like, it's easy because I live in Baltimore, but Baltimore, if you want a team that's fun to watch, you can't beat a lot of their games. It's just Lamar on offense is just what it is they can do on defense.
Lamar is a fucking stud. All right, and what so apparently something happened with my Buffalo Bills.
Well, hold on. What's up with James right now?
All right, so the Mavs are up by 2. It's 50 seconds left in the game. Lou Williams just did a pump fake for the 3. And Seth Curry
slapped his hand.
He fell for the pump fake. So now it's 3 free throws. And Lou Williams doesn't really miss.
And he missed the third one.
Oh, he did?
Yep.
Wait, what? This is a tie game?
121-121.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm behind.
I won't say anything.
You're always behind.
So my Bills.
Fuck you. Okay.
You are. Anytime that there's a sporting event, I don't know what TV or anything you're using. You're always lagging.
He's in Delaware. They get it last.
That's why you need to pay taxes.
Yeah, it's the tax issue.
I'd rather not.
No infrastructure. You need
I'd rather
infrastructure.
not. No. Now I am live.
Okay. So, and this is mad props to the NFL and to the Bills organization. If you get a positive COVID test, go into quarantine. Josh Allen and a couple other players tested positive. They ended up being false positives, which is great. It's great news. But they put them in quarantine, retested them, came back negative, which means obviously they were false positives. They did everything right.
I think it was from that same New Jersey lab.
Yeah.
And the Mets that's the false positive thing that we were going to talk about before Kadeen interrupted me.
And then I don't know, it wasn't on the list, but the Mets have obviously not played all weekend because they had a player and a coach test positive, or a staff member, and then they tested everybody else that was in contact with those people, and they all came back negative. Still negative today, so that's great news. But yeah, tell me about. I must miss a story about this one lab. Are they just shipping out positive results to ship out positive results?
It depends on the test.
But when I looked at the story, they were talking about this one lab in New Jersey that a lot of the positive tests came out of, and apparently they were all false positives. Like, a lot of them were false positives. So they're looking into how they handled it. But that right there brought up a big issue, because if you look at it, the teams that were affected had to cancel practice, right? Mm-hmm. So if you got a team that gets a false positive and they have a big game coming up, but now they can't even practice, they're put at a disadvantage.
That's the huge thing about this false positive bit.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That's why the testing has to get down. The thing is that there is no national test. There is no universal test that everybody's just using this one thing. There's lots of different reagents and everything you need to get the results. There's a lot of the rapid tests, for the most part, from what I understand, suck a lot more than the ones that take a little longer to get done.
Yeah, that's my uncle, who is a ER doc and the head of a hospital for a long time, said don't even bother taking the rapid tests.
Yeah,
because if you have symptoms, take a test. Go sit at home. It's 5 days after exposure is when the test is going to be the most valid. Then it's another 5 days. You're basically at the 14-day quarantine anyway. So, but make sure you get the test that takes 2 or 3 days, and then stay your ass at home till you get your results.
Like that's
the
tomorrow.
only way it works.
Tomorrow at 2:00, I'm going in line at a fire station right down the street here in DC to get my test because they have a 2-day turnaround.
CVS right now, any of the CVS healthcare places are down to a 2-day turnaround now too. And
are they? Because my last CVS test took 18 days, so that's why CVS
and it's
here
free.
Yeah, no, the CVS test is where I've usually been getting the test done. But along those same lines is then
Maryland too right now, right across from Old Town, which is King. I'll get you the place. It's 2-day turnaround right now.
Yeah, if you give me that, let me know. But what you were saying as far as with Josh Allen is that let's say you have a star player test positive and then they can't play in a game because they test positive right before the game, ends up being a false. If it's a false positive, and we find out it's a false positive right after a game,
then you just didn't have the player,
and you didn't have a Tom Brady, you didn't have a Patrick Mahomes for a game.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? How also I'm already looking forward to seeing how people are going to say that the Patriots are cheating and getting lab results for false positive people. Like how's that going to happen? Like there's all these different aspects of things when it comes to the COVID deal, which goes back to my initial thing, which is we shouldn't play sports.
Yeah, I mean, playing fantasy baseball right now has been so fucking frustrating because I have like absolute studs who can't play because of the COVID. And then I end up having like they're out for 4 games, so I end up losing because my stars are out.
That's why I was like, I can't do fantasy football this year.
I'm the commissioner, and it's becoming really hard to get anybody interested, number one. And number two is like I still feel like I'm gonna put all this time and effort into getting everything all set up, and it's just gonna get canceled.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't feel right putting $100 or a couple $100 into a fantasy league.
Oh, we're not charging any money, and that should be something that everybody eliminates right now.
That's
Do
what
not
I'm
charge
saying.
money for this shit.
But like people are.
This is the opportunity to get into FanDuel. So if you like fantasy sports,
I love Zach Greinke, a healthy Zach Greinke. He threw a pitch for a strike today, 54 miles an hour.
You know, I heard he's like like a baseball savant.
Yeah.
Like people love his mind, his baseball mind.
Oh, and when you see a pitch come in at 54 when you're expecting it at 95, you're just like,
the fuck?
What was that?
Okay.
All right, y'all, I gotta go cook me some lamb.
All right, final thoughts.
My final thoughts is Tom Flores better be in the fucking Hall of Fame. They better not do the same shit they did to Kenny Stabler, where he died and then a year after they put him in the fucking Hall of Fame. That's bullshit. Everybody says it's bullshit. So that's all I want to say.
It's called the Raider way.
Fuck you. That's bullshit.
It is bullshit. Not tonight.
That's bullshit. He should be in the fucking Hall of Fame.
Okay, all right. We get it.
All right.
Wait, where should he be?
No, he didn't say Hall of Fame. The fucking Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame.
Like Will Chamberlain's there because he smashed how many people?
Hundreds, thousands.
Nah, if you look at his stats, them shits is ridiculous. Like Homeboy was averaging 30 and 30. That's fucking nuts.
We're talking about it went over
points and rebounds.
Yeah, it went over his head.
That's nuts.
Okay.
It's all right.
No, it didn't. I just wanted to bring it back to basketball.
I'm interested to see who the Cavs end up hiring as a coach. Like every other sport, like the season ended, August 20th? We have the NHL restart is planned for December 1st, so it's going to be a shorter off season.
Oh, nice.
But these moves that have to get made like pretty soon. But I just hope they don't rush it because that would be a mistake. Even though we do have Russians on the team. Yeah, I'm interested.
Terrible joke.
I'm interested to see who is even on the list. I'm sure they had a list before they fired Todd. I just haven't. Nothing's come out yet.
Just let Ovi be coach.
And also, I'm glad that the Mets hopefully are all, for the most part, COVID-free and get some baseball back up this week. Because it was boring as fuck without any goddamn Mets baseball this weekend. Fuck. Sorry.
My final thought, just because I just got back into town from the South again. COVID is fucking real. Wear your goddamn mask. Stay home if you don't need to fucking be out. Don't be a fucking idiot like a bunch of these goddamn Southerners I saw. They fucking look at me like I'm a goddamn alien because I'm wearing a goddamn mask.
That's probably not why they were looking at you.
Touche. If you're racist, fuck you too.
Yes, there it is. It wasn't the mask they were surprised. It's the man behind the mask.
It's a Negro in a mask? Is he robbing us?
Yeah. Yeah, the police called on you every 45 seconds. There's a man in a mask and he's black.
So here, without getting into detail, I have a friend who has a police officer is watching her house, and they had to know that I was coming down, and she had to give the cop fair warning that this black guy was coming with Maryland plates to the house probably late at night, and not to hurt him because he's a friend. So it was like I had to get a clearance basically to make sure I was going to be okay.
Yeah, black people clearance. You gotta
what?
Don't you have to get those all the time?
Detail. It's just what it's.
Don't you have to get those all the time?
Was this person black?
No, she's white.
Okay. Nah, I just wanted to check.
No.
I mean, if it was a black
Cops
neighborhood, they wouldn't have thought twice about a black guy breaking into the apartment. But
I think it's Asian.
But in a white neighborhood, I mean, if you look at the George Floyd video, there was also an Asian cop.
Yep.
Be careful. All right, y'all. It's we got some good sports this week.
It's
hopefully.
overtime for the Mavs right now. Let's go, Luka.
We will update you with.
I'm hoping the Mavs win just to keep it interesting.
Yeah, me too.
And I hope we beat the Clippers because fuck them.
All right, let's roll, gentlemen.
Later, guys.
Peace.
Peace.